Hello everyone, welcome to The Slice, a podcast that's focused on elevating the wealth of Africans globally, and it is brought to you by Kebo. My name is Toby David and I'm here with...
Hello guys, it's Jam.
How's everyone's week been?
Have a week been by the way.
My week has been very hectic and unplanned. I had some hitches along the line, so I've been very disconnected. What about you?
Lagos 2000, Jam 0. I keep losing in this battle. I keep losing. Oh my goodness. But I'm happy that we're almost reaching the end of the week. So
Let this week just end. And let's just move on from this week, because this week has not been the best of weeks.
But it's good. So what are we talking about today? Like, how is today going to be?
So today we're going to be talking about myths in building wealth. I hope you enjoyed our last episode, which was on Ponzi schemes. We broke down a lot and shared our personal story. So just moving on from there, we're going to be breaking down now wealth, the definition, what it means, then also misconceptions or myths that people have about building wealth. So Jam, how will you define wealth? What is wealth to you?
When I think of wealth, I think of, that kind of money that you don't have to work for anymore.
You don't have to worry.
You don't have to wake up in the morning and be like,
I have to hustle for my 2K. There's
Yes.
no daily 2K again.
And it's not even about that, it's that the wealth is projected downwards, even to the next person, maybe to your family, right? When you think of the wealthiest people in the world, think of who are the people around them and how are they? They are rich people in the world.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
But there are wealthy people that you see that this money has been really passed down from one generation to the other, and you just see it oozing out. So, to be honest, I don't even have like a particular definition around wealth.
You just have like characteristics of
Yes,
wealth.
I have a perception of how wealth would look like.
Okay.
I've not gotten there yet, my brothers and sisters.
Okay.
What about you?
The way I see wealth, I think I'll just borrow from your definition, in the sense of it's something that is passed down, something that it's not just you that can enjoy it fully. It will still go down to like people after you, and it might not even be people after you, but people around you. For example, in case you don't have children yet, it's still something that is reaching people that are close to you. So that's just how I see wealth. But a lot of times people get confused about the meaning of being rich and being wealthy. So I think that's something that we're also going to break down. So what we say is the difference between being rich and being wealthy.
See, the core definition for me is, if you have to work for your money and you're good, you're rich.
You're rich, okay.
If you're fine and you're earning, your work produces your level of income, and it's top 1% and you're good. You're good. That's being rich. If you're wealthy, I feel like wealthy people, when it comes to wealth, it comes from a lot of investments, and a lot of investments that you've made that are taking care of you now. You don't really, a lot of passive investment. There's a lot of capital or money coming in passively that you really don't have to do much about. You don't have to think too much about it. It just comes to you. I feel like that's a huge distinction between people that are rich and people that are wealthy. There are lots of people that are rich that are fine. They have to wake up the money and make sure that things are going well. But when you get to that wealthy point is when, imagine if, I think there was a time that I was hearing that Warren Buffett was receiving $20 billion in dividends. So this is money that he didn't have to do anything.
Just for the purpose of what are dividends?
Dividends are like earnings you get for owning a stock or a share of a company.
So let's say for Apple now, if he
has a stake in Apple, maybe he owns like 10% of Apple.
And if Apple makes a profit,
yes, and they pay it to their shareholders.
Just
for you owning the stock.
It's not like you're working there or you're making management decisions.
You're not doing anything.
Okay.
20 billion. So that level of freedom is where I feel like wealth is like a big distinction between people that are wealthy and people that are rich.
Okay.
What about you?
On my own end, the best way I see it, the best illustration is football players are rich. The people that own the club they are wealthy. That's the way I see it. People, because football players, they get paid.
Yeah.
They get it. Ronaldo, Messi, they all get paychecks. It's like, oh, at the end of, I think they pay them per week.
Yeah.
So at the end of the week, 200,000 euros. But somebody
they have
to sweat to get the money. But someone is on the other and giving them the check.
Yeah.
So that's just how being rich is having a lot of money, but being wealthy is having a system. For example, now all these like club owners, since we are still talking about football, all these club owners, they can go for like a week.
Yeah.
Because they already have a system in place. It's not that they have to be on seat every 24/7. There's a system in place that is churning out, money is moving, people's salaries are being paid, whether they are on seat or not. They have built that system. So that's just how I see it. But just in conjunction with what we were saying about financial freedom, I believe, is the link between being rich and getting wealthy.
Yeah.
So you start off broke, then you get, maybe you start building your skills or whatever on your line of work, you get promotions, you climb up the ladder, you start getting paid more, so you become rich. So now the link, what would take you from getting rich to being wealthy, is now that financial freedom. And there are 6 steps of financial freedom. Can you just break that down for us?
So we have like a couple of, I'm trying to see I can compress it as much as I can.
Yeah.
So like the first one is solvency. What that means is that at this stage you're able to pay up your bills yourself and you're basically self-sufficient. Like you're not having any. I think one of the things that we see in the Western world is they have a lot of debts weighing on them. So you go to school, you have like student loans hanging over you.
Yes.
And one of the things I've noticed for people that are really into financial freedom, they always say settle your debt first. Just pay it off. I know that you're done with it.
Know that you're done with
because
it. Because
what that allows you to do is to have control over yourself and your money. Like you're not in debt to anyone. So having solvency is really important. I think the second thing is stability. So when you get to this stage, you're able to start paying your bills and you have started accumulating savings. So what that means is that at that point, you settled your debts. Now you're basically, at this point where you're having an emergency fund, you're having something that will be there so that you don't have if any issues come into play, you're not shocked in any way. The third one is agency. You've built up your savings over time, and you can even quit your job because of how much you saved. And that comes to the aspect of having an emergency fund, whereby.
So what's an emergency fund?
Emergency fund is when you have enough money saved up in case that covers your expenses on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And it's usually for 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
Yes,
so
exactly.
So that means if you lost your job, you have
if
enough
you lost
saved
your job
up that
today, you can survive
pay
for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
That kind of and most times Nigerians don't have that.
Don't have that. That's
It's
true.
crazy. The fourth one is security. At this point, you've started investing, and your investments have started yielding returns enough to cover your basic needs. This is something that I think a lot of people want to aspire to, like being the point whereby your bills are being settled by your investments. That's really, at that point, that's where you're like, oh, I don't have to work to settle these bills.
Yes.
Something else is settling it for me. The fifth one is independence. You can maintain your current standard of living with the money you earn through investments. So at that point, your bills, your normal expenses, everything you're currently doing is being settled by your investments. And that is something that is wild. You get, like, a lot of people don't even reach to that point where
yes.
normally you settle your bills fine, they're like tiny things.
Yes.
But imagine you controlling your feeding, your transport, all based on your investments, right?
Just maintaining same lifestyle.
Just maintain your same lifestyle. And the final one is abundance. Your passive income can now fully support your bills and give you freedom to do whatever you want. So it's not just about your basic needs now. You can decide to travel, and your investments can facilitate that travel.
This is the wealthy stage.
That is the point.
That is the peak.
That's the point where you know that I have arrived.
All right, thank you for that. So those are the 6 stages of financial freedom. And just to add to that, a lot of people have misconceptions, but I think the first one that we see every time you watch TV shows, there's always like one rich person that doesn't go to work.
Exactly.
And the person is still rich and is still buying car and is still doing his own. I want everyone to understand something very basic. Every single person that lives that kind of lifestyle where they don't work but there is money is either two things. One, inheritance. Okay, three. Okay. One is Pablo Escobar money, his drug money. That's one. So he has like his cartel running the stuff. And if that's the case, well, we don't know what to tell you. We are not in that. We are not in that line of work. We are not talking to you. We are not our target audience. So number two, inheritance. They have inherited money. Yeah. Number three, they have investments. You cannot see anybody that is out of these three things living that kind of lifestyle where they don't work but yet there's money. But a lot of them, not say all of us, but a lot of people have this dream where, oh, I want to be able to travel to Bahamas, I want to go to Mauritius and all that, and not have to work. The only way you will get, and I repeat myself, the only way you will get there is if your investments are paying you. Now, among those investments is also a business. So the investments doesn't only mean stocks and the rest. So if you don't have investment, I'm not trying to place a curse on you or trying to say that, but money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah. If you are listening to this podcast, you are probably old enough to know that money doesn't grow on trees. If not, all of us will be monkeys. So the only way you ever live that dream Hollywood movie lifestyle is if your investments are working for you. So that's just.
Or if you have Habibi. If you have a people that is taking care of you.
It's taking care of you. But most of the time, that thing doesn't last.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't last. If someone is paying, unless that person is like your parent.
Yeah, true.
Unless that, and most of the time, if the only time I can see it last is if it's your parents. Apart from that, if it's another, you can always be replaced. So
what are the likely like myths people face on a day-to-day basis that might hinder you from even thinking of wealth? I know people think of wealth, but like the action to
people they dream of wealth. I had a friend where anytime you just see him like staring in the sky, you'd be like, David, if I buy like 2 G-Wagon like this, if I like any single time you tap him now, Alpha, what's going on? He's dreaming of like either he's dreaming of G-Wagon or he's dreaming of getting $1 million per year, that kind of thing. That's just
the idea. A lot of people have this dream of I'm going to get this nice house, this mansion, I'm going to drive this big car, I'm going to fly abroad and live in one fancy island over there, and one lady is giving me, that's my own dream.
I want lady back room,
and I'm sipping juice, lifestyle. But like the execution of those things or achieving those things is a lot of work.
Yes, that's very true.
And that work sort of scares people, right? From even taking the action. But I think today we want to like drill down the stumbling blocks or the myths people think that it's impossible for me, right? That's what the slice is about. Like, how do we like debunk all of these weird myths and show you guys that it's actually possible from day one. You can start it from today, right? So I think, Toby, what do you want? What's the first one that we can start with?
The first one that's on the top of my head is self-made. A lot of people have this. It's usually in media, self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire. The fact is that no one is really self-made.
Very true.
And if you want to, there's nothing wrong with stopping at any stage of the financial freedom ladder. There's nothing wrong. But if you are going to get to the final stage, it's just like there's nothing wrong with getting any grade in university.
The abundance stage.
But there's nothing wrong with getting any grade in university. But at the end of the day, if you are going to be the BGS, like the best graduating student, there are things you must do.
Definitely.
If you don't want to do it, then it's fine. Stay on the other. So, if you are going to get to that abundance stage, you need to understand that there's nothing like self-made. You need people.
Yeah.
You need people. Partnerships are very, very key. It's not everything you can learn or everything you can Google. You still need people to like guide you, or you go and meet them for help and all those things, or you need them to partner. Maybe you want to start a business, and I mean you yourself, you are a co-founder, so you won't have been able to build what you have built so far on your own.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
It's so weird when I see self-made billionaire. I'm
No one is self-made.
Even that your team, the team that is doing that business, there are people like building out the back end work, waking up in the morning, coming to work by 9, leaving late just to make sure that thing actually works. So there's no such thing as you doing it alone. I think a few days ago I went for a conference and we were just networking and talking with people, and I just noticed that that conference was basically people talking about how they got into this big accelerator program, right?
What's an accelerator program?
It's a program that trains startups on how to scale their business and they give them money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to get into that accelerator program, you need introductions. So someone had to tell you, guy, here's what you're going to do. Put your application like this. Yes. Here's what you have to. Here are the things you have to hit in terms of milestones, so that you look much more presentable to the accelerator program. A lot of people don't have those inside secrets. You get. And it's only those startups that are opportunity to know about those secrets that actually get into the program.
So without introduction, there's no way that
it's like, let's say impossible. Close to impossible. So you need someone warm to say, Alpha, listen to this guy. The idea makes sense. Okay. The startup is nice.
Yes.
So that's when you start thinking that in every stage of your life, if you really want to be at a certain point or at a certain height, you need people. You need someone to just open the ladder and just be like, let me lift you up, guy. I know we see you're doing the good work. And it happens in every successful person's life. There is nobody that became number one without someone pushing him up. It's just impossible. At all. So yes, you can do it. You listening to this pod means that we're helping you.
That's true.
If you become a billionaire tomorrow, just give me 1%. Just 1% to.
Just 1%. They're not greedy.
They're not greedy.
Also, in conjunction with what Jama said, we also have a community.
Yeah.
We have a community, the Kebu Tribe community, where we talk about personal finance and just help each other. Sometimes, the one thing I've learned about communicating with people is that most of the time when I get communicating, there's something that someone else would know that I don't know.
Exactly.
And that thing that he knows might save my life. Or might save my money. But there's no way I would have ever found out if I did not speak to that person. So on the community is a group on Telegram. So we have people come share their experiences, and also we give tips and just help people make their personal finance life better. So
this is self-promoting what Kebul is, but Kebul is the definition of us saying that you can't do it yourself. Because what happens in real estate is that only a handful of people can even invest in real estate. Yes. Everyone can invest in stock market now, crypto, everything is really open. But real estate is very enclosed to certain people. And Kebu sort of says, if you want to tap into this market, come through us. We are going to make it accessible to you. So I feel like everyone needs some level of, you can't do it all by yourself. You need a system around you. Like you mentioned, we have a community. You need a community around you to just enable you to be the best version of yourself. So that's really key. And what's the second one you think can?
Another myth is that a lot of times people say I will start building wealth or start thinking about all this when I start making more money. Yeah. I cannot do that with the amount of money I'm earning now.
Yes.
Well, it's true to some certain extent. If you are earning minimum wage or 5k in such a way that every single thing is budgeted for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, building wealth is a habit.
Yeah.
Because when you want to, let's say, invest in stocks now, you say you want to put 50,000 naira in stocks. That 50,000 naira, you could have used the money to buy a new shoe. You could have used the money to go out with your guys. It don't need to be a fun night. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? But you need to cultivate that discipline of putting money aside, because when it's in stocks, you are not seeing the money now. You just know that it's on one. Okay, probably you have an app, so you just go on the app and be looking at it. But it doesn't really translate to more beans on your table or anything. So you just have to cultivate that discipline of putting money away, knowing that your money is working for you. And
you're right. You can't think of investing without thinking of, okay, where's the money going to come from, right? But I always say that it always starts with small things. And thank God we have technology, right now. There are a lot of platforms that you can start investing or saving with 100 naira to 1,000 naira.
That's true.
Like,
the main thing is just to build that habit.
Just build the habit, and you're right. Like building that habit, you could start with the 100 naira, you could start with the 500 naira. As you're starting it, you're understanding that so this thing is I have all this money saved up somewhere. You just wake up with the money, you are putting 100 naira. Before you know it is 20,000 naira, and you're like, wow. You get after I use that 20 and buy Sia, but still, but like still, you can see the results of being persistent and building that habit, and it's so encouraging. But you can start. The point is that you can start. I think the third thing is like, off the top of my head, is people think that getting loan is bad. Like getting into debt is bad, and I can get how it looks in our ecosystem.
Yes.
Like everything that happens,
especially with the loan apps.
Yes.
All those ones that they tell Siroma.
Have they messaged you before?
Yeah, messaged me before. Tell this person that he's owing us, and if not, we'll call him and his father and lock them up.
One called me. I told him to come to my house. Like, I don't know that. Is it my fault that the person?
You don't know the person.
I don't know the person. You just mentioned one random name and said that he took loan, that I'm the guarantor.
Yeah, you're the guarantor. You're the guarantor.
I said, that
wait,
my
you
name is there.
You are the guarantor. You don't sign any form.
I didn't sign anything.
So someone can just print your name
and my number. And my number is literally everywhere. Like, you can call me.
So you just...
I was just like, but I don't know. They were really serious. So I said, you come my house. I even sent my address. So you want to beat me? Come and beat me. And it's just crazy. But like, I was listening to a finance, an economist a few weeks ago, and the guy was saying that, funny how this is the best time to collect loan. And he said that... Why is
that?
So he was giving the idea that how do you hedge yourself from this inflationary time? Our inflation is roughly going to like 18% or something.
Yeah, that's true. 17.73 or so.
Just imagine. And food prices are hiking up like mad.
30%.
So he gave a hint that what if you can collect loan and buy food stock that can last for 3 months? So buy all your... I know you don't have the money now to buy for 3 months, but if you get this loan, you can buy food stuff that can last you for 3 months. So it will hedge you from the increase.
Because in that 3 months time, the money will be more...
Exactly.
The food will cost more.
Exactly. So it's cheaper to just get the loan. How much interest are you paying? Maybe 3% per month or something. Get the loan, pay off everything, buy everything up. If you can afford to do that, you get.
Yes.
But that's like one of the tricks about, and it just got to me that these are different ways that people can actually use debt to their advantage, especially during this time, right? So thinking about debt, yes, it has its disadvantages, but there are loopholes around it that you can.
So will you say that there is good debt and there is bad debt?
There is definitely good debt and bad debt.
What will you classify as good debt and what will you classify as bad debt?
If a bad debt is the one that you borrow from this app, use that buy Ghost Stone.
Use that buy Ghost Stone.
I be singing happiness.
If I broke
now my business. So that's like a typical example of bad debt. Good debt is something that you're going to use it for something much more productive.
Okay.
So something maybe generating cash flow for you, and you want to put it there to boost the cash flow.
Okay.
Or something can be saving you time and money.
Okay.
So you get in the expectation that later in the future it will yield something.
Okay.
So those are the two reasons why I think that someone should take a loan. But you shouldn't be taking a loan to
buy a new shoe or cool stone.
Please, thank you. All of those buy now pay later things I used to do. Hope people are doing well. So I think the third one or the fourth one, right?
Yeah, fourth one
is people think that they are too young to start caring about wealth. Like when we talk to people in Kebo or some of the customers, they're like, "Wow, real estate." That's like for my daddy now.
Yeah.
And it just blocks out a lot of the potential that is available, because right now the opportunities for you that were not even available for your parents.
That's very true.
Right?
That's very true.
And these platforms provide those opportunities for you as of now. Imagine if your parents started at your age. Think about like if you started, that's like you have 20 years or 30 years gap to start it. And you're waiting to like
let me get to 35.
Let me get to that. You have like 20 to 30 years gap to start. So you have this huge opportunity right in front of you. So it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. There's nothing like I'm too young to invest, unless you're like a baby.
Yeah.
But the baby will not even know what to say.
I believe a lot of people believe in windfall. So a windfall is when you receive money, large amount of money unexpectedly. So they believe that, oh, when I get to 30, my earning capacity might rise to 1.5. Maybe that, oh, by that time I'll be earning 10 million per month and all that. But you also need to realize that by that time your lifestyle also changed. There's a wife, there's a husband, there are children. Let's say you pop out 3 kids with all their expenses and all. So the best time to start really is now. And just in relation to what we were speaking about before, we talked about making it a habit. The thing about habits is that the earlier you start, the better. That's why any habits book or any habits you ever see is one thing that is present in all those books is that start now. Start doesn't if it's okay you want to start doing press up, start doing one press up now. Like don't wait till tomorrow because you just keep postponing and postponing. So another myth about building wealth, I think this is number 5. Yeah. And probably
the last one.
This is our last one. So a lot of people have they have a mindset against budgeting. They believe that if I'm trying to build wealth, I shouldn't be. But you need to. There's a very popular book. I don't know if you know it, The Millionaire Next Door.
Yeah,
The Millionaire Next Door. So it was by a marketing professor, and he did a lot of extensive research. And I'm not talking about research on social media. So he researched among the millionaires in America, and he found out that most of them lived frugal lives.
Wow.
Now by frugal, we always break things down. By frugal, it means modest life. It means they were not buying Lambo every 2 weeks, or they were not buying a new house. They use normal cars, they use normal watches, maybe 1 or 2 nice dinner dates once in a while. But they live very frugal lives. Because of the age we are in, the social media age we are in, we see rich people, and the first sign of a rich person is that, oh, which car is he posing by, or what is he wearing, and all that. But the true sense, the rich people or the wealthy people in this country, you don't know them. The only person that knows is them and their bank, what they call these officials that they attach to you in the bank.
The bank manager.
No, not the one that is assigned to you personally. If you have big money,
manager.
Account manager. It's only them and their account manager. A lot of people find that their parents were rich after they died. It's like, so mommy had this kind of money in her account, and you will not know. So, but the way they were able to build that up is a lifestyle of constantly budgeting that, I have children coming. A couple of years ago, this was before I entered university, I remember I told my mom I wanted to buy a very expensive phone. So I went like, mommy, help me, I need this phone. And she was like, I'm not going to give you this money. And I'm like, but because I knew around that time she had some money. I think she was talking about she had some. So I was like, that show love. I didn't say show love, but you get the point. So she was not like, I can't be. I think she now compared herself to another family member that I can't be doing like her. Because I think she just bought my cousin a new phone. So she was like, I can't be like you. Most likely you will be going out of the country for your masters. So I cannot be spending money like someone who doesn't have a child that is going abroad for masters. Do you get what I'm saying? So like there's this budgeting, and this was like 6 years, 7 years before I even finished school. So there's this level of being intentional about your money, that even though she had money at that time, so even though you have money, you still need to be intentional about it. You still need to plan with that money. If not, it is one thing that anybody listening to this podcast or anybody in this world that is old enough knows, that it is very easy to blow money. It is. We even had an episode on Sapa. Yes, we had an episode on Sapa, so you can go back and check that. I think it's episode 2 or 3. But we had an episode on Sapa. It is very easy to blow money. Don't ever think that no more, unless it's like $1 billion. And the problem with spending $1 billion will even be how to move it. It's not that what to spend it on. It's how to move it. So you need to be very intentional about your money. And one prime way you can do that is by budgeting. You need to have it. Because if you don't budget, there's just a way that things come up. If normally you buy maybe rice 1.5, suddenly you start saying, let me add 500 on top. Before you know it, the money that you spent on rice has finished by the half of the month. So you need to budget. And so those are just the 5 key myths that we believe you need to be very conscious about on your journey to attaining abundance, aka financial freedom.
So what have we, like, just to cover everything we've done in this episode, we basically explained what wealth is. Yeah, we've given you the differences between what wealth is and what being rich is, and we've broken down like a couple of stages for you to get financial freedom, for you to reach the point of abundance where your investments are basically settling all your basic needs and all your living expenses and all your salary expenses. Then we've basically also broken down the myths. Like, a lot of things can have been said about building wealth, but we said, oh, how do we debunk this and give you guys the right information for how to build wealth? I think in all of this, the basic thing that you should just take home with is you can start today.
Yes.
As little as you can just start today. So I think we are good.
Yeah, I think that's the end. On my own end, the only conclusion I will have is that the earlier you start, the better for your future self.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that people are not usually conscious of their future self, like who they will be in 5 years time. For example, if you were not serious with like your studies and you came out with a pass, you were not conscious of your future self. You did not understand that in the Nigerian job market, people overlook people with pass, and that's the fact of it. So you need to be conscious of your future self, that in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, where do I want to be? So even though you might feel like, let me just blow everything now, always remember, because that person in the 5 years time is more important than this person now. So, and it cuts across everything, your finances, your health. So that is why we are, why should I cut down on sugar? But it's to save.
An investment in your future.
It's an investment in your future self. It's not just about now.
Yes.
So
that's before we even go, there's one skit I just wanted to highlight. It just came to my mind.
What skit is that?
So this guy, his future self, maybe like 2030 or 2040, comes to 2022.
Okay, like time travel,
and tells him that he's broke, right?
Okay.
And the reason why he's broke is that he's always spending money on data.
Okay. Yeah.
So what he has to do for him to be able to survive in the future, that he should stop spending money on data. Yeah. That if you stop spending money on data every single month, that he's going to be a millionaire in the future. You get? So what he did was to tell him, I said, this is the gist. That's the only thing you have to do. Just stop data. Then he now traveled back to the future,
okay.
right? And when he traveled back, started having money because his past self started
listening to his
future self. So I said, okay, let me stop spending money on data. This kid ended this way. So this past self got tired. The future self wanted to buy a house.
Okay.
He had Ghana must go. He had finished counting the money. Put the money into the Ghana must go.
Okay.
Wanted to now pay the landlord. Okay. The money disappeared.
Because that was started
started buying data 5k, 10k, 15k. Then he cannot kill himself. just show you that everything you're doing actually is an investment into yourself and to your future self. So just think about that when you're making expenses and when you're thinking about investing. Right? See you guys in the next episode. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening in. Bye.
Bye everyone.